Hi there. So for those who don't know me, I'm Jess and I do ASMR videos, mostly massage or spa, some a little witchy, but right now I am on a tea kick and I hope you don't mind. It means I'm uploading a lot more often, so I hope some of you appreciate that and like getting videos more often, but if you don't, there's lots of content. If you go on Patreon, you don't have to pay for it. A lot of my content is free on Patreon. It's all strictly ASMR. Again, I'm hoping these tea tastings are ASMR as well, but for those of you who are kind of over them, feel free to go to Patreon and have some more massage or travel, or there are some tastings on there, but not as many as I've been doing on here. So it is evening, but I have this tea that is the next in my community box that I really want to try. This is Arabica Earl Grey. Whoa, that's an interesting scent. Very floral. You get the bergamot, but there's kind of a rose in there. I don't know what's in this. Let me read what's in this. Actually, here, let me brew some of this. Let's see. I am probably going to be a little bit stingy with this because I want to try it, but it is a pretty expensive tea. And I'm not quite sure why it's so expensive, but I want to make sure, oops, sorry about that. I want to make sure I get all of the different particles in there, because I think sometimes with community, because you're only getting a little tiny sample, you're not always getting all of the different parts. So like if it's got a little bit of cranberry in it, but you don't get a piece of cranberry in your little community sample, then you're not going to have any cranberry flavor. So this one you're supposed to brew for 5 to 10 minutes. So I may try it at a few different stages. So this is Arabica tea, which I don't know what Arabica is, but it's supposed to be, all I know is it's supposed to be healthy for you. Orange, natural bergamot flavor, blue cornflowers. So this has trace caffeine, which is why I was really willing to taste it at almost 7 o'clock at night, because my bedtime is at about 10. With the time change, I've been getting up at 5, which I'm not overjoyed about, but it is giving me some time in the morning to just kind of chill. But I'm not happy. I want that 1 extra hour of sleep. So I am sure I will adjust over the weekend. But for right now, it's a little frustrating because I'm tired. And I'm tired early. So we'll see. Although I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm not feeling exhausted today. I went climbing today. That always kind of helps with my energy levels. And I meditated after climbing, and I had a busy morning, but my afternoon was pretty chill. Made some soup and cooked some bread that I had started yesterday and I let rise overnight in the fridge. I make a no-knead bread that only has 4 ingredients. So it's just flour, salt, water, and yeast. And I'll either make that, you can make it with hot water and the yeast, and you can actually make it within 2 or 3 hours, or you can make it with the yeast added right into the flour and then let it rise overnight in the fridge, which I usually do the former, but I wanted the bread for today, so I had time to make it yesterday. I had time to bake it today, so that's what I did. So I made that this afternoon. Had some good vegetable soup, and my rehearsal for this evening was canceled because people are sick. Lots of people have the flu right now. So either they're sick or their partners are sick and they don't want to get everybody else sick. And after COVID, everybody's really worried. So we don't wear masks. The band doesn't wear masks anymore, which I wore masks for safety, but gosh, do I hate singing with a mask on. I hate it, hate it, hate it. So I'm glad that we finally have kind of switched in both bands that I'm in, that we've switched to only wearing masks if you want to wear masks, but you don't have to wear masks for everybody else unless you're feeling sick. So that is a nice change. My week has been pretty busy, and my husband is going out of town tomorrow morning. So I'm going to have at least Friday night all to myself because my son will go over to his grandparents for the night. I haven't had an evening to myself in a very long time. The theater I usually would go to, I often go to a play because my husband doesn't love the theater, which is fine. I'll go by myself even when he's home. But when he's gone, that's sort of what my go-to. But it's supposed to be Hurricane Nicole coming through. So filming this on the 9th. This tea is for the 13th, I believe. And Hurricane Nicole is supposed to come through on Friday night here where I live. And so it's supposed to be very rainy and yucky. And so I don't watch a lot of TV, but I'm kind of tempted to find a movie or TV or something that I can watch and just kind of curl up at home, maybe with a glass of wine instead of a cup of tea. Although switching to tea has been wonderful. I haven't really felt tempted to drink much wine. Like today, I didn't have to drive my son to Taekwondo. And I could have had, ooh, this is like no color. That looks like water. Okay. So that has very, very little color to it. And almost no smell. And very little flavor. So that is one I'm going to have to let steep probably for the full 10 minutes. It's not bad. It just has almost no flavor at all. Has a little bit of bergamot flavor. So I don't know what that's about, but I didn't brew a big pot of it. So I think it just has to steep. I don't think I've ever had Arabica before. So maybe if you have had Arabica before and you have some suggestions on how I am supposed to play with this ingredient and make it delicious. I have had, so since I'm going to let this steep for another 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you all the teas that I've had today. I started off with just actually with a Lion's black tea that someone very kind sent to me, and I oversteeped it a little bit. I forget that British teas, I was watching one tea tuber who said most people in England brew their tea for like 30 seconds. And I am much more of a 5-minute or more kind of girl. And she said often they brew for 30 seconds and have milk in the teapot. So that's kind of funny. I think that's a bit of an exaggeration, but this is a tea where if I brew it for much more than 3 to 5 minutes, it gets bitter. Now, luckily, I don't mind bitter tea as my first tea in the morning. When I drink Twining's English breakfast, I kind of purposely overbrew it. So I just have to remember that I need to set a timer. I've started using the TeaPal app, And TPow will set a timer for you, and it's actually really cute because as the timer goes, it makes like a little kind of bubbling water kind of sound. So I've been using that a bit more. I need to get really in the habit of it with this lion's tea because it oversteeps. And in the morning, I'm like checking emails, playing around on my phone. I get distracted and I forget that I'm making tea. So I had that. I had an Ito En sweet matcha packet, which was lovely. I put a little bit of oat milk in it, which I've never done before. And I don't have a matcha whisk. I don't have a milk frother. I'm not really that fussy with my tea. So I'm going to drink a little bit more of this because I want, when I pour the rest of this in, I don't want it too diluted. So I do like some milk in my tea, but I don't need it frothed. Maybe if I had a good frother, I might learn to love it, but I don't know. So I do have a small tumbler that I put my matcha into, and then I just shook up the tumbler really well. That seemed to work okay. Made it a tiny bit frothy, but not much. But that's okay. Again, another thing where maybe if I knew how to make matcha entirely correctly, I would be like, what have I been doing all this time? But for right now, what I'm doing is fine for me. So I had that. What else did I have? I had so much tea today. I had something else that made me feel kind of shaky. What did I have? Oh, I had a lapsang souchong with it, which I've never had before. It smelled like a burning tire. It started to grow on me, but it was a very, very strong smell, even after it was brewed, and the taste was very, very smoky. It was starting to grow on me by the end, but it's one I think I'm going to have to mix with something else. So this is still very light. Yeah, a little bit of bergamot, maybe a little bit of orange. I don't know what Arabica is supposed to taste like. The Arabica maybe gives it a bit of a floral taste, but that could be the bergamot. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm not sure what I'm tasting. Because it's very light. It's not my favorite. I like a real punch in the teeth kind of tea, even with my herbals. So the herbals I've been going to right now, I just finished a big pot of chicorino, which has chicory and cinnamon. Love it. I love that. I love bonfire, which also has tons of flavor. Today I had some sort of, I got it in a box, and it's a beauty tea, and it's herbal, but I switched to it after the lapsang souchong because I was feeling a bit jittery from all the caffeine, and I don't love it. I've had it for a while. I need to drink it down, but it's got sage in it. Love sage. Grow sage in my yard. I don't love it in tea. It's overpowering for most teas. So it's in this great big bag of herbal tea that I have that I want to drink down. I don't want to throw out, but I don't love it at all. But I drank that. And then I had a vanilla honey bush, and I kind of poured that into the remains of my beauty tea to kind of give it a little bit more flavor. And that was pretty good. I had the vanilla honey bush, and then I switched over to the chicorino, which was so lovely. I'm going to buy another big bag of that chicorino. I don't know that I can live without it. We used to get LaRue chicory to add to our coffee, and it was like dirt cheap. It was like $3.50 for a great big thing. And don't sell it at my grocery store anymore. And I went and like looked it up on Amazon, and it was like something stupid, like $14. I was like, no, I'm not gonna spend that on chicory to add to coffee. But this isn't very cheap either, but it's got the cinnamon and a little bit of clove in it, and it's just magical. And my husband is re-steeping it to see if a re-steep, since I put a lot in there, if the re-steep is good. So I'll have to ask him if the re-steep is good. And if the re-steep is good, then it's worth it's worth the cost anyway, because I will buy it. But it might be worth like a giant bag, which is like $24. But when I find teas that my husband loves too, I tend to stock up, because he has like go-to drinks, and then he will drink all of it and I won't have any. And then we got some trouble. So I hope you guys don't mind the rambling. I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it, and not sure why it's so expensive. It really tastes like some of the other herbal teas I've had that just like don't pack any punch. I'm gonna brew, there's a lot left. There was a lot in this packet, and maybe you need to dump the whole thing in. Maybe. I don't think so. I am going to use the rest of it in just this cup. I'm not gonna brew the whole pot on the day that I do the community for that packet. But for now, it's fine. I'll drink it. But not super keen. So I'll be back with you again soon. Good night. Good night, but next time you see me, it'll probably be morning. All right, bye. Hello. So it's Friday night. Home alone. My son is at his grandparents' house, at my parents' house. My husband is away at a conference, and I'm getting wild and crazy. I'm drinking a black tea at 6 p.m. Oh yeah. Here we go. Now, I will say, I have had a glass of wine. I'm not just having a cup of tea, but it actually is relatively well calculated, because I am having a very hard time adjusting to the time change. I have a really good book that I would like to read this evening while I drink my tea and wine. Oh, it smells nice. But I can barely stay awake past like 9 o'clock at night. So I am going to try this tea, and hopefully it won't wreck me. We will see. So this is cinnamon. It smells like cinnamon. It is basically a black tea, cinnamon, natural cinnamon flavor. That's it. So I expect it to taste like cinnamon. I'm going to put this in. I am using the entire container of this puppy, because I think not using enough tea has been part of my problem with not getting enough flavor from these. Sometimes it's just there's not the flavor that I'm looking for in them. So this one says steep 3 minutes. I am gonna steep it longer than that because I want the extra flavor. I actually would have gone out to the theater and done something this evening, but the hurricane that's not really going to hit us is coming through. We had tornado warnings this afternoon, and the rain is coming down heavy periodically. I probably would have either gone to the theater or walked up to the Museum of Fine Arts, where they have a wine night, and they stay open late on Friday nights. But instead, with the weather being crappy, And it's weird. It's like 70 degrees out. Weather's crappy. I don't want to get caught in the rain. I am sitting home and reading a book and watching some anime, which I never do. As you may know if you watch my videos, I very rarely watch television. But I found an anime. I'll tell you the little story while we wait for this to steep. I love me some Neil Gaiman. Since I was a teenager, I collected the Sandman comics. Love them, love them, love them. Had all of them. Started collecting them when they first started. So Sandman came out on Netflix. And I was excited. Lots of people were more excited than me because I was like, I'm excited, but it's still TV. And so I'm probably not going to watch it a lot. So I've been trying to watch it. And I found, I have like no attention span for a 45-minute long show. It causes me some anxiety. So I tend to watch shows from the middle to the middle of the next one so that I'm not left at a cliffhanger because I don't like the anxiety of it. And Sandman is a little gory. The comics were fine because they were comics. But it actually is a little gory for me. I don't watch bloody stuff. Again, not that. It affects me. I am very easily affected by film and books, and so I carefully curate what I take in. If I'm going to take in something disturbing, I generally want it to be a nonfiction where I'm learning something. But through watching that, and I will watch it all because, again, it was one of my favorite things. It's somewhat nostalgic. But I was realizing, like, I could watch stuff like this if it was a cartoon, easier. And so I set out to find an anime because I used to watch silly old animes, Pony Pony Dash. I watched all of the Powerpuff Girls when they came out when I was younger. I haven't watched anime in a long time. Again, just because I don't watch much of anything that's a cartoon that I'm not watching with my son anymore. But I thought that would be a nice thing to do this weekend. I've got a weekend where we're kind of just chilling. I'm not doing much, which is very, very rare for me. So I thought it would be fun to find something to binge watch that's not stressful. And so I am watching, I think it's called Kumi Can't Communicate, or Komi Can't Communicate. And it's very silly and chill, and really, I'm enjoying it. So I'm kind of watching one of those because they're about 20 minutes long, and then I'm reading a chapter of my book, and I'm going back and forth. And it's a lovely evening. But I wanted to film something, and the next couple of teas that I have are black teas, so I'm going to do it. So this is a pretty bronze color. I think it's really nice. It's probably somewhere between a toast and a bronze. It tastes like cinnamon. It tastes like black tea with cinnamon. I might add some maple syrup to this since it's the evening. I don't mind a bit more sugary tea in the evenings. I've found that a lot of these flavored black teas I don't like in the morning because they really are so much better with maple syrup or a little bit of stevia or something, and I don't like that first thing in the morning. I really don't want anything sweet until later, unless it's a sweet matcha. And sometimes I like the sweet matcha in the morning. So, nice. Doesn't blow me out of the water. Probably won't buy it, but it's nice. And I hope you are enjoying your evening. This tea is for Monday. So, I am drinking it early. I'm allowed to do so that you get these videos on time. And I didn't save any of this, so I won't have any to sip on Monday, but that's okay because I got lots of tea. But yeah, it's nice. It's okay. Let me know if you guys are drinking any Adagio, if any of this is making you want to try the community, or if you just like hanging with me. I watch lots of tea tubers and I like just hanging. Just getting up in the morning and listening to Serenity, Serenity, but it's Sarah and Tea. As the tea brews, I like Tea with Jan, I like Jackie Allen, I like. So I'm finding all the tea tubers, and they're fun to watch. It's kind of just nice to hang with them, and I hope you're enjoying that with me. I know I don't do a lot of ramble videos, so I'm making this a little bit more rambly, and I know that's going to be cool for some of you, and some of you are just going to turn it off, and that's okay. So, all right, have a good night, everybody. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning to do the third of this little group. Okay, bye. Good morning. Trying this video again. Because I could not get my tea open. Had to go get some scissors. It is a wet hair Saturday morning. And we are starting off with some Golden Girls tea. There we go. Thank you for being a friend. So I have lots of big tea plans for today. No one is in my house for a couple of hours. So I am going to do a couple of tea tastings. But I'm actually going to do some big tea tastings. I think I'm going to do a close-up tea whisper. Let me know if you have any suggestions to improve the videos, things you would like to see. Sometimes, again, it depends on the suggestions. I do have a certain style, as you've probably seen in my videos, that I like to stick with. Okay, so we're going to put that into my teapot, but I'm definitely willing to hear suggestions. I'm trying to make these at least sound a little bit more professional, but I know a lot of people like the lo-fi. I personally like lo-fi, so I don't want it to sound too processed. So we'll see if I can find a happy medium. This needs 3 minutes steeping. I'll probably steep it a little bit longer. This has black tea, natural strawberry flavor, natural cream flavor, strawberries, raspberry leaves, and freeze-dried strawberries. I'm very excited about this one. So one of the marvelous things about Adagio that I'm hoping to do eventually is you can brew your own teas, not brew. You can combine different Adagio teas and send in a description and a picture, and they will make, they're like fandom blends. They're not all fandom. Some of them are like pictures of their pets. And I would love to get comfortable enough with the Adagio teas to be able to make some different teas of my own. That sounds amazing that they give everybody that opportunity. And they put a lot of these teas in the community. So that sounds cool. I would love to do some literary ones. So not kind of classic literary, but some of whatever I happen to be reading and what tea seems to fit with it. And that might be fun for me because I do a lot of reading. The other thing I've thought of doing is I play gamelan, which is Indonesian music, and I play both Javanese and Balinese. And they are a large orchestra, and it would be fun to make a different blend for each instrument in the orchestra. I was thinking of Javanese first because that's my first love. And it would be fun to make like a gong inspired tea, what would that would be like really robust and smoky, and would definitely have some lapsang souchong in it. It would just be, that would be a lot of fun to me. Take a picture of our gong and yeah, make gamelan teas, maybe hand out some gamelan teas to the members of the gamelan. Just be kind of silly and fun. So I've been tossing around that idea. But I think today I am going to make a close-up whisper tea tasting and see if people like that. And then we are doing more birthday festivities this weekend, because this is my son's actual birthday tomorrow, but I am surrounded by Scorpios. So my mom's birthday was about a week ago. My son's birthday's tomorrow. My dad's birthday's the next day. So we are going to Topgolf, which is what my son enjoys doing. It actually is fun, I will say. I am not a golfer, have no intent. I have gone golfing. I'm not horrible at golfing, and I do love miniature golfing, but Topgolf is fun. It's kind of like hipster bowling, where like you don't really have to be that good at the sport to have fun and have some drinks. And so this is kind of a nice light bronzy color. Let me see, let me look at the color chart and see if I can get any better take on that. Let's see. I think yeah, it's bronze, maybe heading towards caramel, but definitely more on the bronze. I would say, yeah, bronze. Caramel's a little too light, and it's not quite burnt caramel yet. So it's a pretty color. I didn't talk about the scent. Let me talk about the scent while that cools a tiny bit. I am going to steep what's in the pot a little bit longer, see if I like it with a little more flavor, especially because I didn't use the whole packet. I'm finding I actually don't need the whole packet. I just need to steep it a little bit longer. Very much smells like strawberries. Yeah, it smells beautifully of strawberries. It doesn't smell really synthetically of strawberries. It's nice. I don't get the scent here at all. Oh, that's lovely. That is a really nice black tea. I'm going to pour more in here because I don't think it needs to steep a whole lot more. And I don't want to oversteep it and make it bitter, because the strawberry flavor, oh, there, now it's a caramel. Burnt caramel. The strawberry comes through really, really nicely. Oh, I'm so excited to do. I feel a little bad. I feel like Debbie Downer, because a lot of the times I'm like, this tea's okay. But I like to be. There's a lot of people that everything is great, and then it doesn't give as much oomph when something really is exceptional. So because I say a tea is okay, it doesn't mean it's bad. It's a perfectly lovely tea most of the time. I have not had a single tea that I really didn't like. There's just usually, oh, there's not enough flavor in it. This is a wow, and I don't know if I can buy this Fandom blend. Sometimes you can't buy the Fandom blends anymore, but I can find out what was mixed with the Fandom, what different teas were mixed. It's also making me excited because I haven't had a lot of their teas that have strawberry in them. And strawberry is one that can be a really kind of yucky, synthetic, like, I don't know. Strawberry and banana are both ones that, like, when the flavor's right, they're fabulous. When the flavor's wrong, they're really cloying and awful. So I'm now very optimistic about some of their other strawberry teas that I have kind of in my wish list. of teas. So what a great start to tea tastings today. Delicious. So again, this is, I can actually, let me find out before I go what teas are in this, in case any of you are interested. I had thought a little bit about doing like an affiliate link. I don't know. I don't ever want, like, if something's sponsored, I'm happy to say it's sponsored, and then you guys know that going in. But if it's an affiliate link, I don't know, it's also just a hassle to set up an affiliate link. So this says the two teas are cream tea and strawberry tea. So I don't know that I've seen this plain just black strawberry. I'm looking mostly for decafs a lot of the time. Yeah, there's just a plain black tea that's called strawberry, and my guess is I would like that just as much. It's a Ceylon black tea. My guess is I'd like the plain strawberry just as much as the one with the cream in it. I can always add some oat milk, which I actually may go do. This doesn't need any sweetener. I don't love sweetener. So that's great. I'm excited. I do want to do a little disclaimer, which I do most of the time. Like, all of our taste buds are different. The community has shown me like what I think is fabulous, other people don't like. Or what I think is like meh, other people it's their favorite tea. So I'm trying to give you kind of my perspective, and maybe you like teas that I like, but try your own tea. Figure out what your flavor palette is, what you like, and have fun with it. So thank you so much, guys. Bye.